feel like college is not for everyone, and that is fine. If you don't go to college, that does not necessarily mean that you are not smart enough, or that doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful. Make sure that you're prioritizing yourself. No, you're not too selfish. No, it's not that you're cold-hearted. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. You're just putting yourself first, because at the end of the day, if you don't prioritize yourself, then you're not gonna get through life happy. Y'all, so I'm at Starbucks. I love me a good Starbucks drink. It's hot for some reason. I don't know. Like, it's all cold and gloomy outside, but now that I'm inside of my car, like, I'm just hot. And I don't even have the heater on, which is crazy. So yeah, y'all, you guys need to try the pumpkin spice cream. No, is it the iced pumpkin spice cream drink? It's really good. I'm not gonna lie. That's what I ordered. It's a 10 out of 10. It's a really good drink. So yeah, I love it. Hello, can I scan my app, please? Thank you. Here you go.
Yeah, press these ones for me, whichever one. Alright. Did you need a straw?
No, thank you.
Alright.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Alright, y'all. Now let's try this drink. So good. This drink is too good. Sorry to abandon you guys, but the venti iced pumpkin spice cream chai, I got this. Super good. 10 out of 10. But now that I got this, I want to start off this video. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today is a good day. Today has been a good day. And I was just like, you know what, why not make this video? So today I just want to talk about how to balance your life, how to create a set routine. And this video is mainly for the girlies that feel stuck, that feel like they just need that, you know, they just need a sign to, you know, get moving, to get going, to, you know, do what you need to do in life and stop waiting around, you know. So I do want to talk about some things that I have learned now that I am in my early 20s. I was just like, you know what? Let me just talk about some things that I've learned and some things that I feel like I wish I would have done differently. So if you are coming out of high school and you just feel like, okay, I really don't know what to do, like I'm caught in between the lines and it's just like, I'm still trying to figure out some things, then this video is most definitely for you. So if you see me looking at my phone, that just means I took some notes. So I took some notes on what we're going to be talking about today. And before we get into the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you do like this video, because honestly, like, these are things that I have learned, you know, from experience. And not necessarily saying that I'm perfect, but like, these are things that I've just, you know, learned along the lines, and I'm still learning up until now. So it's just like, I want someone to, you know, hear this. So like, if they feel like, you know, they need a little bit of guidance, then yeah, they have that little guidance, if that makes sense. So first thing I do want to talk about is to follow your passion. And a lot of the time, or most of the times, when people are in high school, their senior year, you know, that's when they're just like, okay, like, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do once I get out of high school? Some people tend to feel stuck. Some people tend to just automatically start applying for college, because that's when you're supposed to start applying for college. Some people start applying for college even though they haven't decided what they wanted to do yet. And I'm not saying college is necessarily a bad thing, but I want you to sit down and ask yourself, what do I want to go to college for? What do I want to go to college to do? And how is that going to help me in the long run? Because you can easily say, okay, I want to major in this, I want to major in that. But what are you going to do with that degree is a question. Because at the end of the day, college is not free. College is not easy. It takes time, money, sweat, and tears. Okay? So I just feel like college is not for everyone. And that is fine. If you don't go to college, that does not necessarily mean that you are not smart enough, or that doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful. It just means that you're headed towards a different path. So one thing, if you are still in high school and you're watching this video, one thing I do want you to ask yourself is, now that I'm in my senior year and I'm about to graduate out of high school, what is it that I want to do? Like, what do I want to do? If I want to go to college, what am I going to major in? And not just about what am I going to major in, what am I going to do with that degree? You know? So a lot of people do say that they want to go to college because they want to get that college experience. But I'm not going to lie. If I'm going to be honest with you, college is basically like, I'm a college student. I'm a junior now, but if I'm going to be honest with you, college is basically like adult high school. If I'm gonna be honest, like, it's literally like adult high school. It's messy like high school. It's low-key kind of like the same. The only difference is just that you're older. So it's just like, low-key, it kind of isn't worth it. It's not worth the amount of money you're paying, unless you want to have like a certain type of profession as to where you're going to use that degree and make something for yourself. Then yeah, that makes sense. But other than that, it's just like, ask yourself, what do I want to do with this degree? What do I aspire to be in life? And that's that. So I don't want you to feel bad because everyone around you is going to college. At the end of the day, you got to figure out what you love instead of just doing something that you're forcing yourself to do. Because even if you force yourself to do something you don't want to do, and you go to college and do a major, and college is not easy. So like, when things get hard for you, you're not going to be as passionate enough to continue, and then you're going to be stuck paying off debt, paying off something that you didn't even want to do in the first place, you know? So it's just, I just feel like it's not worth it. So for me, for example, I'm a business major in school. I am trying to be a business owner. So not necessarily saying that you need to go to college to become a business owner, because you really don't. If you want to start a business, you can start your own business. You can do what you need to do. But personally, the only reason as to why I'm going to college is to honestly have a backup plan, you know? So like, I personally just believe in having a backup plan, not necessarily saying that, oh, I'm setting up myself for failure or anything, because I don't believe that. But living in this type of economy and this generation, it, like, in order to really like be as successful as you really want to be, or like, you know, and I live in LA, so it is pretty expensive out here. It's just like, just in case, like, by the time I graduate, my business isn't flourishing as I want it to be flourishing, I can be able to get a job, like at a corporate job with my degree somewhere, let's say at a bank or something. Like, I could be able to work, use that money to fund my business while I'm still doing that in the works, you know, just to be able to have a good job while I'm funding my business. So when I'm able to, like, you know, fund my business without the help of that job, then I can quit and live my own life. But that's the only reason as to why I have the backup plan. Like, if my business flourishes even without me needing that degree, then that's fine. But this is just that degree for me is just a backup plan, just for me, so I can feel comfortable, just so I can feel safe. It's just like a smart idea for me. So it's just also like, when you do figure out what you do like and what you do love, also pick up a backup plan. Because at the end of the day, like, it's so easy, it's so hard to make money in this world, But at the end of the day, it's also very, 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 very easy because we have so many resources. We have so many, so many things to help us, if that makes sense. You got ChatGPT. You have, things to do. Like, you got a lot of stuff. So, that's really just it. So, once you figure out what you do want to do in life, it'll be easier for you because you have a clear vision of where you want to go and you have a clear vision of what you want to do. So then you start doing those things to get there, if that makes sense, without feeling like, oh, stuck, if that makes sense. Another thing I want to talk about is cutting out toxic and unnecessary things. So I want to express the importance of boundaries. Boundaries. Like, I can talk about this all day, but you really need to understand the importance of boundaries, because some people, like, even if you've been friends with someone for like a long time, and not necessarily just saying friends, but also relationships as well, and family, some people, you can't expect someone to know how you feel about something if you don't necessarily set a boundary, if that makes sense, because at the end of the day, people change. You're not gonna always be the same person that you were when you were a kid. You're growing. As you're growing, you're changing. Things are gonna change. People around you are gonna change. So you have to start aligning yourself with people and things that kind of like help you grow, inspire, and that help inspire you, if that makes sense. So you can't necessarily keep entertaining the same things that you used to entertain when you were, back in the days, when you were just still figuring things out. You can't still keep entertaining that if that's not helping you grow to where you want to be. And not necessarily saying that you got to cut it off, but you have to have a boundary. You have to have a boundary. You have to cut out unnecessary things and focus and shift your time to the things that matter to you. Now, once in a while, you can do what you got to do. Once in a while, I'm not saying like, oh, like your whole life has to just be serious and all. Like, once in a while, like, you can shift your focus to certain things that make you happy, or certain things, but like, you have to have a boundary. Cut off toxicity. Cut off anything that drains your energy. And I'm gonna say this to you because I was a firm believer in, okay, like, this person can't change me, so let me see, or I used to feel bad for people a lot, especially like when people used to drain my energy and a lot of toxic people would be around me. I used to feel bad for people only because of the stories that they would tell me as to the reason as to why they behave that way. But then you also have to ask yourself, you also have to say, like, at the end of the day, like, a person can say that they act like this, that, and that because of the way they grew up. But at a certain point, it's just like, okay, you're able to acknowledge that, but you also have to take accountability that, okay, I'm at a certain age and I grew up in a certain way, but you have to also open up yourself to realize that I can still change how I see things. I can still change how I do things. You don't necessarily have to just attach yourself to wherever you came from just because that's where you grew up, So I feel like if you have the mindset, or if you're that much aware, or if you're that self-aware to realize that, okay, I act like this because of where I grew up, or where I was around, and where this, just so on and so forth, then you're able to take accountability. You're able to be self-aware and realize that, okay, I don't have to act this way just because I came from a place that used to act that way. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you have to change, like, your mindset on certain things. You have to change the way you see certain things, and that brings, and that's why, like, when people bring that excuse and start telling you stories, you have to just be like, yeah, I can't really give that much of my time to that person, because at the end of the day, they're not even taking accountability as to what the reason as to why they act like that. They're blaming it on the place that they came from. When you're a full-grown person, you're a full-grown adult, you're able to realize, you're able to acknowledge that you got to take accountability and change yourself if you know it's not right. So you just have to cut yourself off from toxicity, unnecessary things that is going to drain your energy. Like, I promise you, like, you might say that this doesn't affect me now, but as you're going and as you're putting so much of your time with that person, or with a couple of people, or even with family, like, it's going to drain you. Like, you need to surround yourself with people that inspire you. Number one, if that person doesn't inspire you, if you can't look up to that person and be like, I love this, I love that you're doing that, and how can I do this, ask them, for questions, like, as to how they did something that way, and why they're doing it that way, then you really don't need to be around them. Literally. Like, I don't know, I really don't know how to express it to you. Like, if you can't surround yourself with people that you want to be like, that align with you, I don't see why you're around them. I don't see why you're giving so much of your time to that person, because it's just like, that's not helping you grow. So yeah, that's really it. You have to surround yourself with people that support your growth, people that have like a set routine. And I'm not saying that person has to necessarily be exactly like you, but similar things. If they want better for themselves, they want better for their lives, and they're doing the necessary things that are beneficial to themselves and their lives, and you're doing the same thing, and that's alignment, then y'all walk together. Yeah, so that's what I mean. All right, y'all, so moving on from what we were talking about before, the next thing that I do want to point out is budgeting while still having fun. Now, sorry if you hear my voice sounding a little bit raspy. That's just that's because I'm literally like getting sick. So like, I guess the more I talk, the sicker I get. I don't know. Anytime I catch a cold, I tend to lose my voice for some reason, but I don't know. That's just me getting sick. But the next thing that I do want to talk about is budgeting while still having fun. Now, if you have bills, or if you're coming out of high school and you don't really have any bills, then I would just try to tell you that when you do start, not even, you don't necessarily have to have bills in order to budget, but what I will say is, if you're working and you're making some type of income, at least try to have a savings account. Try to have a savings account so you can still budget on what you do spend in a month or in a day while you're having fun. But if you do pay bills, I need you to prioritize your bills first. Prioritize your bills first, but not necessarily like, don't just make your whole life about paying off those bills, because that's exactly what I did. I tried to make my everyday life consist with paying off my bills, and doing that, you start to get burned out. You start to not enjoy life. So I would say try to find that balance, and do what you need to do. Yeah, budget. Open the savings account. Anytime you make some type of income, I want you to calculate how much your bills are, how much you want to spend on having fun. I need you to plan out everything. Like, I don't want you to live life on a I don't know basis, because if you don't know, then like that, sometimes that leads to being confused, that leads to overspending leads to not having enough, and then you not being happy enough because you're in debt, and all that stuff. So you want to be organized. You want to learn how to do certain things, and that is literally where my next thing comes in. And I am creating a planner for the girlies, because one thing I believe in, if anything, is staying organized, creating a balanced routine for yourself. And what better way to do that than writing it down in a planner, so you can plan out your life, so you can organize and do the things that you need to do. So I'm going to create, I'm in the process of creating a planner for the girlies, and I will update you guys once it is out. So just a heads up that I am working on a new project for the girlies, and yeah, you guys are going to expect more coming from me soon. So, and then another thing that I do want to talk about is romanticizing your life and putting yourself first. Now, I understand that we are put in situations and where we want to help and care about other people without prioritizing ourselves. And I want you to make sure that you're prioritizing yourself. No, you're not too selfish. No, it's not that you're cold-hearted. You're just putting yourself first, because at the end of the day, if you don't prioritize yourself, then you're not going to get through life happy. You're going to end up realizing later on in life that you should have put yourself first. You should have done what was best for you in that moment instead of worrying about what's best for that next person, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, you're living your life for you at the end of the day. But while putting yourself first, I need you to romanticize your life. I don't want you to be, because one thing I do want to emphasize is I don't want you to be that girl that's just like, oh, I don't want to go to this place because nobody wants to go with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to miss out on opportunities just because you don't have a +1 or your friends don't want to go with you. Like, you will not get through life, babe. Like, I'm telling you now that, like, literally, you came in this world alone. You are going to leave alone. Now, I'm not saying isolate yourself, but I'm saying romanticize your life. I need you to prioritize yourself first. Love yourself. Part of doing that is being put in uncomfortable situations, like going on a solo date. Go on a solo date, eat by yourself, make sure that you're comfortable with being alone, going to the movies by yourself, just enjoying your own alone time. That's going to help you understand yourself more. Sometimes you have to separate yourself. Sometimes you have to separate yourself in order to understand yourself more, because if you're around a whole bunch of people all the time and you have, if you're around a whole bunch of people all the time and you literally have no time to yourself whatsoever, you tend to get distracted with the thought of being around other people to the point where you don't know how it feels like to be alone. And that's also dangerous, because it's just like you don't know what you like. You don't know what you want in life. You don't know certain things about yourself that you're supposed to know. So it's just like, I do want you to kind of like take the time to get to know yourself and prioritize yourself while also romanticizing your life. I don't want you to feel like you're being too selfish. Now, you can put yourself first and you can prioritize yourself without being cocky or without being but just carry yourself with grace. Carry yourself with grace and move like accordingly. Literally, move accordingly. Keep doing what you're doing. Just prioritize yourself. That's really what it is. And the next thing that I do want to talk about, the last thing, is balancing everything. So one thing I want you to do is that kind of ties into what I was talking about before, prioritizing yourself now and romanticizing your life. But I want you to have a balanced routine, because without a balanced routine, you cannot get through life. Now, one thing about me is I'm so nitpicky on being organized. Like, I love to be organized. I love to stay organized. I love to write things down, because I'm thinking about so many things at once. I'm doing so many things at once. I tend to forget a lot of things. So I tend to just write them down. Literally, write it down, organize, create a balanced, structured routine, and not necessarily just copying other people's routines, but do what works best for you. And you're not going to know what works best for you if you're not prioritizing yourself, if you're not romanticizing your life. Like, literally sit down, and even if it's trying something new a day so you can figure out what you like, that's perfectly fine. Even if it's setting an alarm, waking up early, like at 6 a.m., or if it's, not going on your phone the first thing when you wake up in the morning. Like, trying new things, creating a balanced, organized routine so you can be able to just have like a structured routine, a structured life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to prioritize your energy. So balance isn't about perfection. It's basically just about what matters the most each day. So, like, just prioritize yourself. Create a balanced routine. That's also where my idea comes in, to where I am creating a planner for the girlies. Like, when you need to create that balanced routine, you can write it down. Like, write down your week's goals, your daily goals, and the goal that you have for the month. and check off every single thing. So by the time you get to the end of the month, it's just like, okay, I've achieved my goal. You know what I'm saying? Because I also don't want you to have like doubts that you can't really do anything, because at the end of the day, we can do anything that we put our minds to. We just have to be passionate enough. When you crave doing something and when you crave wanting a type of life, you're going to figure out how to do it. Not knowing how to do something in 2025 is an excuse, because we literally have all the resources. Google is free, YouTube is free, ChatGPT is literally free. So not knowing how to do something is literally an excuse. But that is something that I will talk about in one of my next videos. So thank you for watching this video. I hope this video helped you in some type of way. At the end of the day, like these are just things that I've learned while, you know, just while growing up, while trying new things, while creating new experiences for myself. And it's just something I just felt like I wanted to kind of share with you guys, because if you do need any type of help or you do need some type of guidance, then I want you to really like get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want us to help each other grow, literally help each other grow and get to where we want to be. Because if we're not doing that, then what? Like, you know, like, and sometimes it's really hard to find genuine people nowadays. It's really hard to find genuine people who really want the best for you, who really want you to win in life. And it's kind of hard to really trust people. So I do understand that. But I do hope this video helped you get that guidance. I want you to create that balanced routine, that structured life. And I want you to be the best person that you can ever be, especially now that 2025 is almost coming to an end and we're about to jump into 2026. I need you to plan out your life. I need you to do what you want to do, so by next year you can be that girl that you were always hoping to be. And yeah, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.